Well, Wizards, welcome back. And today, I think we've come to an interesting point where the Battle Belt review channel may be over, and it's not because I don't like doing these Battle Belt reviews. I actually love doing these. I just think that I've found the one ring of belts to kind of rule them all. And yeah, I'm being a bit over the top and a little bit grandiose, but I think this really is the belt that I would recommend to new users, competitive users, and even veteran users. I'm telling you, this belt took all the good ideas from all the other belts on the market, improved on those ideas, and then put everything together. And that new Do Everything product we'll be showing off that strikes fear in the hearts of cheap Amazon belts everywhere is the all-new Dynamic Principles Warfighter Light Battle Belt. I'm really excited to both test this product and show it off to you guys. And I do think it's gonna be quite a long time before this product is ever gonna be beaten. And as always, you can use discount code TLDco to save a bunch on this belt or anything else over on the Dynamic Principles website. Now, before we get too far into the video, I want to explain to you why this belt is so special, particularly in a world of, the competitive belt market where everything's kind of diluted and a lot of it's the same. I want to explain to you why none of the other belts matter anymore. I mean, the GBRS belt never mattered, but now it's gonna look double foolish, if that's a thing. Now here's why it's so nuts. The Dynamic Principles Warfighter Light works to give you the most rigid structure possible by having both an inner belt and outer belt design that interconnect into the inner curve core, giving you an insane lockup and rigidity without any of the added weight. This also means as you size down, you actually gain more lockup as the belt continues to connect into itself. The other magic here is the connection system. While it looks innocuous, the hole slots are set to an ELS hole size pattern, meaning you can connect cantable pouches or other ELS style pouches directly in and control the cant angle, all without adapters. Think like the Bear Wojak belt, as that one's very similar to this, but the Bear belt has holes instead of slots, so there's a little bit of a limit into how you can connect things up because you can use it in one hole pattern or the other. The Warfighter Light takes that idea, makes it a little bit more clever, so you have almost limitless options in how you connect everything up. But the super crazy is the unique modular buckle system, where you can customize and change the buckle as it connects directly into the belt and is sized to you instead of cutting or anything else. Now, most of the S-tier belts that I've shown you that I can love let you change some of the buckles, but you're usually fixed, like you're locked into a certain size if it's like 1.5 inch or 1 inch size buckles. But because you can change the entire buckle module, you're not locked to that here. And yes, Croak, it does leave the door open to ratcheting buckle modules later. I just want to explain it in the fact that the Warfighter Light gives you that structure to do anything. It's not just the rigidity, it's not just the buckle modules, it's not just how the pouches connect into the belt, it's how it does all of those things and does them all better than everyone else. I'll show you, but first, sponsor love. Today's video is sponsored in part by Nocturn Industries. Nocturn takes night vision to the next level with their all-new Alpha mount. At almost half the weight of the G24 and a rigid ball detent that keeps a solid lockup after thousands of uses, the Alpha mount is truly the new standard in night vision mounts. So from the new user to the operational professional, Nocturn Industries has you covered. I know I got to do a video preview of the Alpha mount a few months ago, and they're finally hitting distributors. So if you want to pick up one of those, make sure to use discount code TLDco over on the Nocturn website. They may be out of stock, but they're supposed to be showing up soon. You can also save a ton on all the other night vision gear that's on that website also. Big thanks to Nocturn as always, they're amazing. Now let's go to my biases. I know I did a poll and you guys wanted me to keep this, but make it super short. So know that I am super biased. I was also heavily involved in some of the design, like questions that he had and some improvements that he should do. And he did send us this belt for review, and I have been testing the prototype for a couple months now. So no, I am extremely biased, but I've also reviewed a ton of belts, and I was able to share the features you all constantly ask for in the comments. So insane bias for me, but it's thanks to our Patreon supporters that we can say and do whatever we want. Don't take anything that I say or any other YouTuber says as gospel. Nobody is doing 10 to 20 hours of editing for free. So that should make you ask some hard questions, do your own research, so you can be the most educated consumer possible. All right, though, so let's do this. Now, this belt can be ordered in a couple different ways. You can kind of get it all a la carte to get all the pieces, or you can order it separately. So let me show you that so you can know what options you have, maybe if you already have your own battle belt. Now, the easiest ordering option by far is the Gunfighter Lite Complete. Here you just pick your inner and outer belt size, then you select your color. I'm realizing there's not a color test like there is on the carrier. When this belt first comes out, it's only gonna be the main duty colors, but it's gonna have all the same colors like later on, maybe in a couple months, that all the cantable pouches come in. So you can look at the cantables and see what available colorways will be coming, and you can kind of plan out how you wanna do your gear setup, just so you know. But then after you pick your colors, you select your buckle size from 1 inch, 1.5 inch, or 1.75 inch Cobra buckle. And then you select if you want to have a D-ring or no D-ring. I think the 1 inch Cobra buckle is really how this belt was designed and how it should be ran. But kind of the magic here is you can use whatever size buckle you want. You can switch out buckle modules. You can do any design you want. You can change out the buckles. That's what makes it great. But I stand pretty heavily by the 1 inch buckle. And yes, I know it's a limited option at the beginning. There will be more buckle options in the future. You gotta give them some time. But that gets you the whole setup with the inner and outer belt, buckles, 2 fixed modules, and 1 adjustable module, all the hardware, and blue Loctite to lock it all up. Now this is great if you have nothing or you wanna just set up a whole new backup belt or just make it your new primary. But what if you already have an inner belt that you love, or maybe even some extra buckle pieces that you wanna use? You can also use those. I just want you to be aware you can also order the inner belt, outer belt, buckles, or buckle modules all separately. So you can really just piece together what exactly you need using the pieces you already love. And I like that they did that. They have one system that's easy to put together and just a simple one shot, or for the veteran users who know, hey, I wanna use this piece, I wanna use that piece, so I only need these little bits to put it together. You can also do that. All right, though, let's get into the belt. I'll show you how to put it together and use those actual buckle modules. But first, let's actually take a look at the inner belt. Start there. I want to start here because we start this theme of genius and simplicity. The belt is 2 inches wide and has a full curve backing to give it that rigid structure. The front is then entirely looped back in your color of choice. And the inner belt works like a fold-over belt, but way, way better. The tapered end of the belt feeds into this laminate loop to connect the 2 sides together, but the fold-over portion ends at the tegris, meaning you can peel it back, grab it, and cinch it down, so it's much more like a pull and tighten inner belt. Now, I'm pretty vocal about this, maybe really, really vocal about it, that I don't really like the fold-over style of belt, but I really like this because it actually folds into itself, and it's kind of like the blend of the 2 different styles, where it has the reinforcement of a fold over where you can push it in and lock it in place. And then you just have this fold over tab that you can pull and help to cinch down. And as you cinch it down, it actually locks the belt up even more because it's held in place up front. It's pretty good. The only small issue some people may have is the inner belt is 2 inches in width. So if you wear some European pants designed for, your man bags and a fedora, you may have some issues. I think an overarching easy way to know if it'll work, like if you say "Good day, milady" a bunch, it's probably not gonna work with your pants. All right, though, let's look at the craziness though. Oh, this is nuts with the outer belt. Here is the Gunfighter Lite outer belt, and there is just simply brilliance in nailing the basics. At the front of the belt are our 4 holes for our buckle module to connect in whichever end you wanna do. I found the best configuration is to set the female end here, but that's up to you. To install the buckle module, grab 1 curved section and 1 laminate section and bend it through the buckle. The act of tightening will lock it all in place, but it may be helpful to bend it slightly into a lowercase b so the holes line up a little bit easier. But then we have one side of our buckle installed. We can then move down the belt and we see a fully curved reinforced belt with our MOLLE slots in that Safariland ELS pattern, meaning you can connect into the curved core, connect it into the outer laminate, use one wrap, or connect directly into the belt itself. Here I set up a medical pouch from flatline fiber with one wrap, multi-tool and flashlight pouches mollied into the curved core, and the cantable pouches bolted directly in so I can make whatever angle or position I want. Now, like I said, the bare Wojak belt is great, and I need to actually do a review video on one of those. But on that belt, the holes are designed, like I kind of mentioned at the beginning, the holes are designed in certain patterns, so you can really have one position or the other. You can't really get in between them. On the Warfighter Lite, I was sitting there looking at my rifle mag pouch. I should just go get it. And I was saying to myself, man, I wish I could just have a little bit more of an angle and have it be maybe like 1/8 of an inch further back. And I just loosened the screws and adjusted it and put it exactly where I wanted to. So you have the same customization of pouches, but then also having all of those micro adjustments. Continuing down the belt, we see where the laminate transitions into loop to allow the two sides of the belt to connect into one another to make the entire structure support all of the weight as one single unit. Now, some belts don't, they use curve and then they don't have the two sides connect together. And it really, really confuses me whenever I see that. Like, what was the point in using the curve at all anyway? This is perfect as the whole system connects together from the inner belt and the outer belt to make what Dynamic Principles calls the tactical hula hoop, where the weight is supported by the structure and not just the material itself. Now, here is where our other buckle module comes into play. You have two options. One, you can measure your exact position to get a locked up belt all the time and use a fixed module. You then bend it into the lowercase b like on the female side we already did and screw it into your perfect position. You may have to play with it a little bit and it may take a little bit of adjustment to get your perfect placement, but there's a ton of adjustment in how to place the other fixed module. And while it looks like you can only use the slots, Dynamic Principles was smart enough to allow you to straddle these between slot positions to get the most secure connection, but don't stress out about it if you don't get it in this perfect position. I mean, I didn't, so don't freak out about it. I just want you to be aware that there's a lot more of positions you can use than just putting it in the slots. So yeah, a lot of adjustment. Now, I will say the fixed is what I think is the ideal setup, as it locks everything up in a super secure connection. But like I said, there is another option. You can also install the adjustable buckle module, which is included if you get the complete kit. This gives you a more legacy style connection when you bolt it up, where you have a tab to adjust tightness every time when you put the belt on. Now, I've used this on legacy belts, like with the adjustment tongue, forever and ever on all these other belts. And what I would do is I would just set it one time, kind of lock it in place and stow it away and never adjust it again. So if you're like me also, just use the fixed modules, get it all set up, and you're gonna love it a lot more. Like, if I'll be honest, I think the only reason he included the adjustable module is because if he didn't, then people on Reddit would cry about it. So here you go, fart mouths, it's included in the bag. Oh, and somebody's gonna ask if that glove hook module comes with it. No, and I'm showing you a bit of a sneak peek of everything you could add with the module-centric design. Like, could you add a suspender module? Yeah, that would be really easy to add in. Hell, I could probably mount a bike to this thing if I tried hard enough. Why this belt is so nuts is because I don't really understand why nobody else has thought of this. Like, when you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, that seems pretty obvious. And I think we're really just scratching the surface of what all you could add in here in terms of different modules and different features by just hooking them in. I would be 0% surprised if I saw somebody with like a skateboard module so they could have some cool Instagram photos with their scope switch. I'm sure we're gonna see that one day. Okay, I seem like I'm getting way off topic here, but let's move into some tests here because that's the whole belt. The first test we're gonna take a look at, and I think it does good on all these tests, which is kind of crazy. The first one is price. The Gunfighter Lite Complete is $180 to $195 old wet ladies. You can't say the D word on YouTube anymore, it's so stupid. Based on the buckle you decide. That's a complete kit with inner belt and everything, which is very close to the same price for a complete DM mech belt or HRT ARC 2.0, and wildly cheaper than this piece of garbage. And you can also save even more by just buying the individual bits that you want, like if you already have an inner belt that you like. But from a price standpoint, I think Dynamic Principles is doing just fantastic by being in the same price range as all the big players, but including way crazier features. I keep kind of comparing them because I think it's the only one that has the ability to attach, pouches directly to it, is that Bear Wojak. And that one's significantly more expensive at like 225 weasels. And another really good one is the sub-second belt that I keep having people tell me about. And that one is, that one is way more than this one. So you're getting features that literally nobody else has for significantly less cost, which is, I think that's how you win the price category. But the biggest win is the next test with ease of pouch attachment. Here, Dynamic Principles just shows the rest of the industry how it's done. From hook and loop MOLLE like on the mech belt, to hooking into the Tegris core like on the ARC 2.0, the Warfighter Lite does all those things, but then has the MOLLE designed in such a way to directly mount cantable pouches or ELS patterns directly onto the side, allowing you to make custom waterfall pouch styles or give you a system you can easily flip out configurations as you're just screwing them in place. Like if I wanted to swap this current belt setup into a more competition style, like maybe for the evening, I'm gonna go shoot competitions tonight. I can just unscrew this rifle mag pouch and then hook in 2 more pistol mag pouches in the orientation that I want. And then I'm set up for a whole new configuration in an entirely different mission set. And all I had to do was screw in a couple pouches. The mounting also allows for micro adjustment of moving the pouches forward or back, along with infinite angle adjustment or even totally vertical. Like if you wanted to do one of those vertical mag pouches, like a rifle mag pouch up front, like you've seen me do in the past, well, cool, just bolt it in. I may change the configuration a little bit in order to make that happen, but it wouldn't be beyond me. The system would allow me to do it. The attachments are built in such a way that I'm kind of standing here going like, why isn't and why hasn't that always been the standard? And I really do think it's going to become the standard as we move forward. All right, the next one is another genius one with the buckle style test. The buckle modules themselves are just insanely smart. You can set them up however you want with fixed ends, male or female, wherever, or the included adjustable end. The modules also let you use whatever size Cobra buckle you want, or you can swap out the buckles you already have to save money to make your perfect configuration. The buckle modules are one of the smartest bits here because we hear a lot from people who they don't want that style of buckle, they don't want this style of buckle, and here you can change out to whatever you want or change your mind later. And I'm sure we're gonna see like G-hook style modules later, and I know a ton of you guys have asked for it. I have no doubt we're gonna see it, a ratcheting buckle module. The structure is just there to do anything. And I know Dynamic Principles watches our videos and looks at some of our comments. So if there's a certain module design or buckle design you want to see, put it down in the comments. I'm sure he'll see it. If I had to guess, he's probably already working on it. Buckle style test though, I have to say that I don't think any belt has ever done better in this test before. But let's move into the next test and take a look at weight. With the buckle modules and hardware, you are adding in a bit of weight, and the bigger buckles may change this weight too, but you're still in the world of ounces with the curved style belts. From a raw weight standpoint, it's insanely light, particularly compared to some of the legacy Gen 1 belts, and it's crazy just how much rigidity you still get out of a lightweight belt like this because of how it all connects together. And that's a perfect segue into the next test of rigidity. Here, every bit of the belt connects together to form a single unit. From the inner belt connecting into itself to the outer belt connecting together, the whole system has a focus on connecting the belt into a single structure, which results in the best rigidity I've ever seen. The design also means as your size gets smaller, you actually gain more rigidity as the 2 belts just connect together even more. So if you're in between sizes, definitely go up a size. I was a good candidate during the prototype stage because I was in between sizes. And when I tested it out, I liked the larger size, which is what I ended up with now. I liked that a lot more because there was just so much more lockup. It was ideal for me. So yeah, size up if you're in between. All right, we still got a few more tests. And the next one is inner belt design. Here, the inner belt just continues that drive of innovative simplicity. It takes a basic fold-over belt, but gives it a unique twist so you can actually tighten it and loosen it, removing the challenges of legacy fold-over belts, but then also still having that connected structure stay intact. Over time, I've learned to really hate, like with a capital H, hate those fold-over belts. But here we see this blend of both the two different styles to give you a really smart option. I did say the only negative you may find is having that 2-inch width belt. I didn't have any issues with Beyonds, Cries, UF Pros, or pretty much all the different tactical pants, but you may have some issues with the size of the belt loop with like regular schmegular jeans or just casual pants. So you may want to be aware of that and check it for yourself. Some belts just use super tiny belt loops. I don't know why they do that. All right, though, the next test we're going to take a look at, and I think it's second to last one, is the outer belt design. Here, the Warfighter is just stupid in what it can do with the buckle modules connecting in pouches directly, while still keeping that legacy Molly look. The Warfighter Lite design is like a sleeper car on the track. You don't even notice how crazy it is until you start to look under the hood. The outer belt design is just fantastic, and the modules and being able to connect it in, it's just what I think is going to become, I think I said it earlier, gonna become the industry standard going forward because it's so stupidly simple. I think you guys come up with way more cool module ideas than I can though. But let's go on to our last test. It's the one everybody's here for. It's skip it time, boys. Here, the Warfighter Lite did just fantastic. The inner belt is slightly wider, so I had no bite on my sides as I jumped around like an idiot. The whole system felt like a single unit locked together, and I think I'm running out of ways to say just how good this belt is. I mean, it passed the skip it test, so what other tests do you need? All right, though, that's the whole belt, and that's all the tests. So what are my final thoughts and rankings? The Dynamic Principles Warfighter Lite takes every feature you could want and turns the dial up to 11 to do it better than everyone else. You can use whatever buckles you want, connect in pouches any way you want, and angle them any way you want, all in a rigid structure with a smart design to harness that core curve structure. This is the belt to beat, and for that reason, I give the Gunfighter Lite a solid S+ rating, along with the coveted TLD, hey, try to catch me boys, trophy. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know if we bother to review more battle belts going forward. I mean, what's really the point when I'm just gonna recommend that you buy this one? And honestly, even just doing this review, I'm thinking about other really cool modules that I could add. Like could you add in, looking at some other ideas from some other belts, could you add in a magnetic module? Yeah, that would be really easy to do. And, I really want to hear what you guys all have to say, because at this point, it's like Legos for your belt. Stay tuned though as we go into a full loadout and I show you how I have this all set up, along with a few different configurations, along with some pouches I loved and some that I didn't. Hopefully by doing that, seeing a couple different configurations from me, you can see how you want to set your belt up and have a couple different ideas of what will be perfect for you. And if I'm being completely honest, I bet Axel Advance is going to jump all over this, because I think their whole business model is just building Tegris products that connect into other people's gear. Yeah, they're going to be angry about that. But I hope this review of the Dynamic Principles Gunfighter Lite Battle Belt was helpful in your purchasing decisions. I want to say thanks to all of our Patreon supporters and our YouTube members. You make it possible we can test this gear, come back and show it to you and say, hey, this is nuts. You want to get this above everything else. And I want to say thanks to everyone that likes, comments, and subscribes. Comment down below what buckle model, God, I almost made it. Comment down below what buckle modules you want to see, and we'll go make Dynamic Principles make them. All right, everybody, Walsh out. Oh, I guess I didn't really talk about it. What generation do you think this belt would be? Now, normally this would be like a Generation 2 belt because it's fully Tegris and uses all that, like the mech belt and the HRT ARC 2.0 belt. But I would put this in a Generation 2.5 because we're seeing a generational leap where we can now also connect in and customize pouches. There's just a feature set there, like also being able to customize the buckles. So there is a feature set in this belt that is a bit of a generational jump from anything else that's on the market. So it's kind of hard to even compare it to some of those. So hope that helps. It is, how did it get hot again? It's gross out again, and the cicadas are starting to come out. So I'm gonna go enjoy the day. You guys do the same thing? All right. Get one of these belts are nuts. All right, later, guys.